When it comes to sprinting, certain names stand out: Usain Bolt, Michael Johnson, and Carl Lewis, to name a few. These legends, alongside countless other black athletes, have dominated track and field races for many years. Some people think black athletes were built for running or have an extra muscle or bone in their bodies, making them have a physical advantage. But what if I told you that among this dominance lies an unusual story? A sprinter from Europe, someone who didn't fit the mold of what we expect in elite sprinting, managed to break through barriers both on and off the track. This athlete achieved something once considered impossible, earning a place among the fastest runners in history. Who is this white sprinter who defied the odds? Many names may come to mind. Italian Pietro Manea, who held the 200-meter world record for 17 years, American Matthew Bowling, nicknamed White Lightning, or Turkey's Ramil Guliev, the 2017 200-meter world champion. But none of these athletes achieved what this individual accomplished. This sprinter didn't just win medals or set records, they broke through the 10-second barrier in the 100 meters, which is something that had never been achieved by a white sprinter before him. This was more than a personal milestone. It was a turning point in the sprinting history. So, who is this white sprinter? His name is Christophe Lemaitre, the French athlete who became one of the fastest men in history. Christophe Lemaitre grew up in Annecy, a small town in the French Alps. The peaceful town may seem like an unlikely place for a future sprinting champion to emerge, but this is where his story began. As a child, Lemaitre was active and loved playing sports. His natural speed stood out early, and his teachers and coaches quickly noticed his potential. He joined an athletics club in his hometown, where his skills were sharpened. Coaches worked with him to improve his technique and build his confidence. Unlike other young athletes who might have started sprinting as part of a larger program, Lemaitre's talent was nurtured in a more relaxed setting. As a teenager, Lemaitre began winning races and setting records. His first major victory came in 2008 when he won the 200 meters at the World Junior Championships. By 2009, he had broken the European junior record in the 100 meters with a time of 10.04 seconds. These early wins showed that he could compete with the best, and his name started to gain attention across Europe.
France, Mr. Christophe Lemaitre.
Even with his growing fame, Lemaitre faced challenges. Sprinting was a sport where athletes from certain backgrounds were expected to dominate. Lemaitre had to deal with people doubting whether someone like him could compete at the highest level. He didn't let the criticism stop him, and he continued to work hard to prove that he belonged on the track. Lemaitre made history on July 9, 2010, during the French National Championships. That day, he became the first white sprinter to run the 100 meters in under 10 seconds, finishing in 9.98 seconds. This achievement was a huge milestone, as breaking the 10-second barrier had long been seen as a sign of being one of the fastest in the world. While people celebrated Lemaitre for being the first white man to do this, he didn't want the focus to be on his race. For him, the accomplishment was about reaching a goal that he had worked toward for years. Lemaitre often said that his success was due to training and his ability to stay focused. Lemaitre didn't stop there. At the 2010 European Championships, he won 3 gold medals, one in the 100 meters, one in the 200 meters, and one in the 4 by 100 meter relay. These victories showed that he wasn't a one-time success. He continued to improve, setting personal records and representing his country on the international stage. In 2011, at the World Championships in Daegu, Lemaitre broke another French record by running 19.80 seconds in the 200 meters. He won a bronze medal in that race, showing that he could compete against the fastest athletes from around the globe. That same year, he helped the French relay team win silver in the 4 by 100 meters. These achievements weren't just about medals or times. They were moments that changed how people viewed the sport and opened the door for other athletes from different backgrounds to believe they could achieve greatness too. After his successes in 2010 and 2011, Lemaitre turned his attention to the Olympics. At the 2012 London Games, he decided to focus on the 200 meters and the 4 by 100 meter relay. In the 200 meters, he reached the final and finished 6th. It wasn't the result he had hoped for, but it showed that he could compete against the best. The relay brought better results. Lemaitre and the French team earned a bronze medal, giving him his first Olympic medal. It was a proud moment for him and for France, as their sprinting team hadn't seen much success at the Olympics in recent years. Lemaitre's next big Olympic moment came at the 2016 Rio Games. In the 100 meters, he ran his season's best, but missed the final. However, in the 200 meters, he made up for it by winning bronze with a time of 20.12 seconds. This made him the first French sprinter in over 50 years to medal in the 200 meters at the Olympics.
Voyez ces immenses repas. Christophe Lemaitre est devant nous. Lemaitre, il est médaille de bronze. Il est médaille de bronze, Christophe. Olympique.
These Olympic performances were proof that Lemaitre could perform on the biggest stages in sports. He faced tough competition and challenges, but managed to come away with medals and personal bests. His ability to keep going, even after setbacks, showed why he was one of the most respected athletes in his sport. While Christophe Lemaitre had many highlights in his career, he also faced several challenges that tested him as an athlete. After the 2016 Rio Olympics, he struggled to maintain the same level of performance that had made him a star. Injuries and changes in competition made it harder for him to keep up with the top sprinters. In 2015, before the Rio Olympics, Lemaitre had already started to face setbacks. At the World Championships that year, he did not make the finals in either the 100 meters or the 200 meters. This was a difficult moment for him, as he was used to being among the best in the world. Still, he worked hard to get back into form for the Rio Olympics the following year. After Rio, his struggles became more frequent. Injuries, particularly hamstring problems, kept him from competing at his best. In 2018, these issues caused him to miss the European Championships, a competition where he had previously dominated. The disruptions in his training made it difficult for him to build the consistency needed to perform at the highest level. The COVID-19 pandemic brought more challenges. Like many athletes, Lemaitre's preparation was affected by the restrictions and cancellations caused by the pandemic. On top of that, he faced health complications related to the vaccination process, which further slowed his return to form. By the time the 2020 Olympics came around, Lemaitre was not able to make the French team. In 2023, after failing to qualify for the 2024 Paris Olympics, Lemaitre announced his retirement. Although his career ended on a quieter note, his earlier achievements remained a source of pride for him and for the sport. His story showed how athletes face both high moments and times of struggle, and how they continue to push through even when the path gets difficult. Christophe Lemaitre's career had a lasting impact on track and field. His achievements were about more than the records he set or the medals he won. He became a symbol of what can happen when someone challenges expectations and believes in their ability to reach new heights. One of his most important accomplishments was becoming the first white sprinter to break the 10-second barrier in the 100 meters. This moment changed how people viewed sprinting. For years, there was a belief that only athletes with specific backgrounds could achieve that level of success. Lemaitre's performance proved that skill, preparation, and effort mattered more than any preconceived ideas. Lemaitre's records also set him apart.
Stejně tak jako Justin Gatlin a nakonec Churandy Martina, možná ještě před Merlonem Devonyshem.
His best time of 9.92 seconds in the 100 meters made him one of the fastest sprinters in history. In the 200 meters, his 19.80 second run at the 2011 World Championships broke a French record that had stood for decades. These times placed him among the top sprinters in the world, and they remain benchmarks for future athletes. In addition to his personal achievements, Lemaitre inspired younger athletes, especially those who didn't fit the traditional mold of a sprinter. He showed that success on the track was possible for anyone willing to dedicate themselves to reaching their goals. His career opened the door for a new generation of sprinters who saw in him a reflection of what they could achieve. Even after retiring, Lemaitre's influence continues. His story is a reminder of how sports can bring people together and challenge old ideas. Athletes like Christophe Lemaitre remind us that success can come from anywhere and that the limits we think exist can always be pushed further. Christophe Lemaitre's journey from a small town in the French Alps to becoming a record-breaking sprinter is one of the most remarkable stories in athletics. By breaking the 10-second barrier in the 100 meters, he achieved a feat that had long been considered impossible for a white sprinter. His victories at the European Championships, World Championships, and Olympics showed his ability to compete at the highest level and win against the best athletes in the world. Lemaitre's career wasn't without struggles. Injuries and setbacks challenged him, especially in the later years. However, these difficulties did not take away from the legacy he built through his early achievements. He showed that success in sprinting isn't about fitting into a stereotype, but about the effort and focus that athletes bring to their training and competitions. Beyond his medals and records, Lemaitre inspired countless people to look beyond the barriers that society often places around them. His story is proof that athletes from any background can rise to the top of their sport and leave a lasting mark. As Christophe Lemaitre steps away from competition, his achievements will continue to be remembered as milestones in the sport. His career stands as an example of what can happen when someone refuses to be limited by expectations and instead focuses on reaching their full potential. Please leave a comment on whether you like this style of video or not. See you next time.